So here with Lucas Martell, director of Pigeon Impossible, who got the Best Professional Animation Award at the Savannah Film Festival. We're still out at the hotel right now.
And Joaquin won Best Student Animation.
Yeah, and we just wanted to make a little short video trying to explain how we started in animation and what are the best things you can do to get into animation. Personally, I started by learning online at home, just with a personal computer and internet. That's pretty much all you need to start up. I did go to school. I went to Columbus College of Art and Design for undergrad, and now I'm at UCLA for a master's. But really, all the beginnings were just by learning by myself. And I know that Lucas also had something similar.
Yeah, it was pretty much, I was actually a music major in school, so I don't have any educational background in animation. But yeah, I started about 5 years ago on Pigeon Impossible, and it's just been a process of learning, trying things, failing a lot.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I feel like I've learned as much, if not even more, by some of the problems that I had, and by doing it that way, as opposed to, just like trying to do things the right way the first time. Because a lot of times sometimes there is a better way, and by stumbling through it, sometimes you find that.
And how do you actually start by, not knowing anything about animation and saying, I want to make an animated film? Because at least for me, I started by learning animation and eventually saying, now I can do a film.
Yeah.
It's a very different process.
Well, I guess I did actually do an internship for about 6 months at a startup animation company. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I wasn't doing a whole lot, but I was around it, so I kind of had an idea of how things were done and kind of the general, I knew what modeling was, what rigging was, animation, all that sort of stuff. So I had a little bit of background before I started, and that is good. So if there's something that you can do, whether it's taking an online class, reading books, just being exposed to it and around it. Honestly, the best way is to probably get an internship at a studio, or maybe help out on someone who's doing an animated short. Anything that you can do to just sort of get used to it, and that'll open up that word.
I'm sure not against school, but it's probably not necessary.
Absolutely not. Yeah, it depends a lot probably on how you learn, I'd imagine, as well. Some people are very good self-learners. I tend to learn things better that way.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
for me, I think it wasn't necessary to go to school, but to learn as much as it was to have a free time to do something on my own. Mm-hmm. So I went to grad school because I knew I wanted to do a couple more short films, mm-hmm. and that really gave me a lot of time. I was able to do one film the first year, another one the second, mm-hmm. and that's good enough to start going to festivals, and it's a totally different world than trying to go to, get a job and having to fight to get your bills paid and all this other stuff. You're really not able to find that much free time to do it on your own.
Yeah. Although one thing that I will say, one of the best things about doing this for the 5 years of production is that my living costs were way down because I didn't go anywhere. I went out and did some stuff, but because I was so busy working on this, most of the time I was home working on my computer. So it actually ended up saving a lot of money, even though it's costed so much to get the film finished and to, do all the festival applications and everything like that. So,
and what would you recommend for learning to start? Like any websites, any books that are your favorite?
I mean, there's a lot. It kind of depends on where you're at. If you're completely new to it, there's nothing. You might want to pick up a learning Maya book or XSI or whatever package you prefer. Blender. There's a ton of people using Blender right now, and there's actually a lot of support for that because so many people are in that world, and they're in that same boat where they're all learning together. I also do some teaching at FX PhD, which is an online training site, and I've done a couple of XSI courses. So far it's been lighting, and it has been a more technical course, so there hasn't been any introductions, but if you use Softimage, that'd be a great place to check out. And
I personally found out that not all of them, but some very specific Gnomon Workshop DVDs are very useful. Taking a whole semester in class might be the same as taking one DVD and doing it on your own in 1 week. Mm-hmm. It's really very intense. If you really follow what they're teaching, you learn very specific technical things. Mm-hmm. But then you gotta get the actual animation training. That's one of the tough ones because it's not something that you can just learn by reading a book. You gotta see it, you gotta experience it. So doing it on paper. I don't know if you ever done traditional animation or if you just done 3D.
Well, actually, I guess I did when I was a kid. I really liked to do flip books. So I did a fair number of those. Again, that actually helped out a lot, even though it's it wasn't character stuff. It was more like, you know, like airplanes flying around and that sort of stuff. But yeah, it still gave you a really good background in it. So
yeah, and nowadays, you know, even there's iPhone applications where you can do flipbook stuff.
Yeah,
you learn some stuff out of it. But I think it's important to go online and check out the basics of animation, squash and stretch and overlapping action.
Yeah.
All these basic ideas that you can learn by observation, but if you know how to put a name to it, it's much easier to conceptualize it.
yeah, and the two books that a lot of people use for animation: Illusion of Life by Frank Thomas and Ollie Johnston, and also Animator Survival Kit by Richard Williams.
And that's probably the most helpful one I can think of.
Yeah, because that one deals more with like actual technical stuff. Like here's how to do a 12-frame walk cycle, and you know these very it's I don't want to say it's technical because there's still a lot of creative to it, but it just really tends to walk you through a much, you know, it's very, very clear in how to go about creating hand-drawn animation or any type of animation. Definitely. So yeah.
Cool. So I hope this helps everyone. I'm gonna put a couple links on the sidebar to all these different books and maybe some links to other websites that might help. And thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much, Joaquin.